What's up, family? Welcome back to the Grace Cafe, where we talk about real stuff in real times, real situations with real people, but keeping the perspective on God's grace.
All my days I've been searching.
And welcome on behalf of Dwain Lynch, President and Executive Director of Grace Four Steps Reentry Program. Did you know that around 650,000 returning citizens and recovering addicts are released into the community every year? 2/3 of that number are either rearrested or relapsed. More than half of that number return to prison or treatment within 1 to 3 years. The Grace Four Steps Reentry Program is a faith-based nonprofit organization with a mission to house, educate, and assist returning citizens and recovering addicts to reacclimate themselves back into society. Our vision is to reduce recidivism and relapse by offering services and tools to our participants that will help them to stabilize themselves effectively and sufficiently back into the community, helping them become productive citizens, reconnecting with their loved ones, and reforming their lives for better living. We are asking for your support in providing life-changing opportunities for our participants. Every contribution saves someone's life. Every dollar helps, and we are always grateful for any and every amount received. So do us a favor, go text the letters GFSR to 1-833-536-0718. Thank you in advance for choosing to donate to our organization.
What's up, family? Welcome back to the Grace Cafe, where we talk about real stuff in real times, real situations with real people, but keeping the perspective on God's grace. And I also get a chance to act stupid. You know what I mean? But welcome. We are happy that you decided to tune in, and we are just we are just, we're just trying to stay consistent I'm trying to stay consistent in what God has told me to do. I came back because God told me a while ago through a friend to do this. And, situations came up, things went left, things happened, and I just didn't do it. I did it and then I didn't do it. I did it and then I didn't do it. And I just don't want that to be the norm. If God tells me to do something, I want to do it. Amen. So, I have my beautiful wife here today with me to pick up on a topic that we've been talking about. We've been talking about staying strong when life go left, or a better way to say it is, what to do when life go left, because on any given day our life can just go left. We've been reflecting on different things over the past, I don't know, a couple of weeks now. And, we just been looking at how life went left in different periods in our life, but we still here today, So we just gonna pick that up today. What to do when life go left, or staying strong when life go left. So, Miss Pastor Jessica.
Not on this show. I'm just Jessica. One of the things we like to do on here is just remove all church out of it.
Yeah, that's true.
because the
That's true.
idea is, I mean, you can have a grace-based perspective without necessarily being churchy, if you will.
Yeah.
And yes, I did the little quotes. I'm looking at how my hair look on this background. Just looks kind of weird. Just yesterday I had stuff.
Actually, it blends with the background, so we're
No,
just gonna let that go.
it
Let that go.
does.
But um, just for the audience, staying strong when life go left. What do that mean to you?
Staying strong when life goes left. I don't know. I personally have found strength in different areas and in different ways. Um, when I was younger, before I knew about having a relationship with the Lord,
Mhm.
I found strength in, I don't even know how to describe it. It's kind of like a self strength, if you will. Just, I don't, in my mind, what comes to mind is ignoring override. I found strength in just really not allowing things to keep my focus. If something hurt me deeply, I would just avoid it.
Yeah.
Do whatever I can to avoid it and not deal with it, whether it's a person, a situation. There's some things that you just can't run from. Like when you get pregnant and you in high school, you can't run that. You can't avoid that.
Right.
Eventually a baby's coming forth. So, for me in that particular situation, I don't know, I turned very inward and thought I was finding strength in myself, not even realizing it, even in the midst of my mess,
Hmm.
where I think I'm finding strength in myself, is still God.
Yeah.
And not allowing myself. I mean, I got real depressed during both pregnancies, both times, because mentally and emotionally, I knew that being pregnant outside of being married was wrong. But here's the thing, when I was doing what it took to make them babies, it never dawned on me, okay, this could lead to a baby, and this too is wrong.
Right.
But the mere fact of being pregnant, oh my gosh, that was just like, and knowing,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I grew up, I grew up like most of us, knowing the difference between what's right and what's wrong, but choosing when to ignore it for whatever purpose, whether it was I wanted to be liked, I wanted to, be accepted, whatever the reason was, I would ignore what was right
Mhm.
to be, I don't know, I don't want to say popular, but to fit in with a different type of group of folks. And so being strong back then just meant not showing what I considered weakness, whether that was crying, whether that was, just getting to a place where, okay, well, now I got kids, all I can do is nothing. It made me more determined, kind of like my cousin. It made me more determined
Mhm.
to not stay in that place.
Right.
I found the strength to say, okay, this could be like this. In other words, I could have these kids, they could become crazy, they could become thugs, they could become this because they're going to be in a single parent household.
Right.
Or I can do everything in my power to make sure that having them is not going to go in that direction.
Right.
I don't even know if that answered your question, but
That
it's,
answered it. That totally answered it. Because I'm glad you said that. That you did what your cousin did, and that was strength in you and and Buster's family
you know,
to press beyond. Okay, you might mess up, you know, and that's all going left. Life going left is things just get messed up, or you mess up. But what are you gonna do in those situations? I had my god brother on, Melvin, and the way y'all grew up and the way we grew up was totally different. You know what I mean? You know, um, y'all pressed forward by, you know, working and, doing what you had to do to stay out of that, to stay out of our lane.
Yeah.
But being strong for us when we were younger was doing what we had to do to make sure. And Melvin and I, we used to, we used to have these talks or whatever, right? And our whole thing was, we need to do this or we need to do that, so we don't leave this on our mothers, because we was both raised by single mothers, right? And so we was like, we know this wrong. And for real, that whole time that, I was getting in trouble or whatever, our mothers was like, man, you know, he gonna get you in trouble, or he gonna get you in trouble.
Yeah.
Both of them was saying the same thing, but like Melvin was saying, I mean, we didn't see it in that light or in that nature, because we were stronger together than apart. You know what I mean? We, as long as we was together, we had a strong bond, and we had a strong idea of what we wanted and what we wanted to do. So we just did it,
Yeah. It's
So
interesting, even though you guys grew up differently, still the mindset was similar, in that, you know, we knew we had to press beyond whatever the circumstance
right,
was.
yeah,
It was like, we can't stay here. So whatever method we used to press beyond, whether it was legal or illegal, didn't really matter. What
right,
mattered was that we didn't stay in that situation.
yeah,
And I think that type of mindset is the mindset that we need to have in
right,
this current time. And a lot of the younger people, they don't have that mindset. And I don't know, I don't know if it's something in the water or whatever it is. Because, it seems like every generation is just different. And my dad used to say every generation gets worse, but I don't want to say it gets
yeah.
worse. I just want to say
I
every
mean,
generation is just different. Just their coping skills, their ability to handle conflict, the little minimal things that we were forced to do
yeah,
without even any forethought. It's like, you go to school for the first day, you in a new neighborhood, and you in a neighborhood with not a lot of people that look like you. You're gonna deal with some stuff.
yeah, yeah, pretty much,
And even as a kid, I still turned inward. Eventually I got to a place where I turned inward so much that it turned into anger.
yeah,
And then that anger turned into bullying. And then that bullying just turned into being mad all the time.
yeah,
And as a child, you can't articulate that stuff. So you're just, that's what they call acting out.
right,
Um, but the strength that I learned over time was still inward and not outward.
mm,
And it was still, okay, I'm going to internalize whatever's going on,
right,
but I'm not going to let it stop me. I'm not going to let it deter me. I'm not going to let it make it seem like I can't go forward, because I'm going forward.
yeah. And I think everybody, well, back then, everybody they were taught that way. But then I think, at some point, because if everybody don't know, just in the DMV alone, the early 80s, we lost, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 generations. And the generations that came after, because I don't know if people remember, but our body count in DC alone was, I think at one point it was like 500
Hmm.
in a year. And then if I'm not mistaken, it was 700. I got to do my research, because I've been doing a lot of research for the new book that I'm writing. But we lost maybe 1 or 2 generations in that time span between 85, I want to say, no, 86 and 89. We lost a lot of people, and most of them were children.
Hmm.
most of them were children or teenagers or whatever. So they never got, to grow up like we did.
Hmm.
And so we had to, press through that time. And, pressing through that time, man, that was rough, man. That crack girl, man, was like really, really rough. And it was rough for a whole lot of people because you had people that were in addiction. You had people that was addicted to money and wanted to hustle. So then you had people, man, that was addicted to just robbing people or doing whatever.
Addicted
And
to robbing people.
yeah, man, I mean,
Okay, can you break that down? How you get addicted to
you
robbing?
get addicted. Well, that it's the same thing as being addicted to money. You just you're not thinking about it's survival mode. You
That's
know,
a good way of looking at it.
and you get addicted to
The
rob.
rush.
Yeah,
The
you
rush
get
from
addicted to
robbing.
robbing people because this is the easiest way that you can make money outside of getting a job. So
Hmm.
in your mind, you are being strong in the situation, whether it's right or wrong,
Hmm.
even
That's
though
a,
you know it's wrong. You know, I always think about um when I was a kid and having Melvin as a friend and then a god brother. That's what that helped me be strong.
hmm.
That helped me be strong, and because back then and to this day I still hate bullies. Back then I was getting bullied a lot, and
You
I
was
didn't.
getting bullied and I was the
Yeah,
bully.
yeah. I was getting bullied a lot because, just because of the things that were going on. But that was only until I was 8 years old.
I think from a well,
Environment.
yeah, the environment has a lot to do with it, but the other side of it is from a bullying standpoint. Oftentimes, like I'll just talk about me, the emotional things that I couldn't express at home. Once, I mean, and honestly, in school, I liked being by myself to
Yeah.
the point where the teachers was like, they thought something was wrong with me. They called my parents, blah, 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 blah. So it's like you forcing me to have relationships with people I don't want to have relationship with,
Yeah.
and I'm mad about it. So, because I'm mad about it, and like, I wasn't bullying like you were being bullied. I was just mad all the time. So if you came up to me and you said something and I didn't like it, I was gonna punch you in your nose.
Mhm.
Um, for no reason, honestly, outside of not being able to articulate what I was going through emotionally and internally. And just not being able to articulate that, it drove me really because whereas you had Melvin, I ain't had
Mhm.
nobody but me. So that's why when I say I would internalize it. I would have conversations with myself to figure out how to get through stuff. At least I thought I was having conversations with myself. As an adult, I realized it was probably God keeping me from being real foolish because I could have
Yeah.
went a whole bunch of different ways,
Yeah.
especially because I was exposed to it. Even though we lived where we lived, where you and Melvin was going through, a lot of my cousins was in the same era, and I was trying to follow them.
Mm.
I was trying to be on the street. I was trying to to hustle and all this other stuff, and them jokers wasn't going for it. They was like, "Nah, I didn't."
Put their
We
foot in
get
your
you.
tail
It
and
was
tell
like we'll
you,
give you some money
take,
before
yeah,
you out here trying to hustle.
take your behind home. But being strong, it changed some people. Some people it changed them for the better, like you and Buster, and then
I
some
don't
people.
know. Sometimes I be wondering, girl.
Sometimes it
Now
changed you.
Buster, I definitely wondered about him. No, I'm joking.
Whatever.
That's my man.
Yeah, but some people it changed them for the worse, and as things went left for us as kids, you know, with everything that was going on, I think being strong made me having to be strong at that time or in that era made me a worse person. I was a straight A student before everything went left.
He's
And
still a straight A
let
student.
me say,
And here's the
let
thing.
me,
The only reason that he doesn't know that he stayed a straight A student throughout school is because he didn't go. Because if he had
I
kept
showed
going and
in.
doing the work, he would know. And today, he's still a straight A student. He just finished school of ministry. And I don't think he got anything less than A.
No, I got B's.
You got B's? And you was okay with that? Because
No,
see, he
I
beat
wasn't okay with
himself
it.
up. That's why he was a straight A student. And even in that type of strength, where his grades was concerned,
Yeah.
see, I'm thinking I went internal, and I did, but I also watched strong people around me. And see, the thing is, sometimes that strength is artificial, and you don't recognize it's artificial until it breaks. And when I say artificial, it's like you get to a breaking point where you're just like, you either ready to kill yourself or somebody else. And that's from internalizing. And what happens is, like a balloon, you can only internalize so much before it
Before it
explodes.
explode.
And then when it explodes, then all hell breaks loose. So it's like you was already going left, now you way left. And when you get there, the only people that can save you is
Mm-hmm.
Jesus.
Yeah. And
But
I
it's
mean,
amazing how
the,
the grace of God kind of walks you
it
through it.
covers you.
You
Yeah,
know,
it covers you. And I had no idea how much God was covering me even back then. You know what? I remember when we first moved over southeast, I was a little kid. I must have been like 8 years old. I might have been younger than that. No, I think I was 7 or 8, one of them. But at night, I used to my bedroom was it was directly in front of the front door. So down the hallway was the front door from my bedroom, right? And some nights I think I thought I was dreaming, but as I went through the years, I wasn't sure if I was dreaming. It might have been, I was thinking that it might have been real, but um the thing is that I used to wake up and look down that hallway at the front door. I could see the front door. And some nights I would wake up because I hear something coming for me. And it was just this like this dark figure with bloodshot red eyes. And
I was gonna
that
say, I
joker
remember that. You was gonna leave me like, how could I wait a minute, what do you mean you remember
and
that?
that joker used to be coming down the hallway, of our apartment. And I'm a little kid. So I'm shaking in my boots. I'm in bed, but I'm like, man, God, don't let this joker get me. Don't let this joker get me. And this joker would come down the hallway, and and when he would get like right where my door was, he would hit something like he was hitting a brick wall, and he couldn't get me. And I realized that even back then, with everything that was going on with me back then, that even back then God was protecting me.
Amen. It's funny you
You know?
mentioned that figure, because I had that same figure in a bunch of times. A bunch of times. And it's funny, my son's father did too. We had a similar conversation. He used to talk about this dark figure. And I had never seen what it looked like
Yeah.
until the movie Ghost came out. Remember we watched the movie Ghost with Whoopi Goldberg and
Hmm.
Patrick Swayze, I think it is.
Hmm.
And when the people would get killed, how them little black things would
Oh
come
yeah,
out and
yeah,
drag them
yeah,
down. That's exactly what
yeah.
it looked like. I
That's
was like,
what it looked like. Yeah.
I was like, whoever made this movie, they know what I'm talking about. And it's like, you got these spiritual forces around you, but you, as a non-spiritual person, you don't know what it
Yeah,
is, but you
yeah.
can see it. And what's so incredible about being able to see it is, although you may not have, I don't even know how to describe it, but you're seeing in the realm of the spirit. Because like right now, we in this room, we don't see anything, but it's spiritual things moving around in this room
moving
right
around
now.
in the spirit. I mean, in the spirit. There are things going on. And I remember my mom telling people that when she was alive, and she used to minister all the time. And I would hear her tell people all the time that there's things going on in this realm and in the spiritual realm. But what you got to focus on is not what's going on here, but you got to focus on what's going on in the spiritual realm, because you have to pull from that to get things to work right here.
Yeah. And that's where the grace of God comes in.
Yeah.
You know, it's like when you talk about standing strong when things go left, you know, for many of us, our childhood just went left. Then, you know, your adolescence went left.
Yeah.
And then your whatever comes after that, pubescence, I don't know, all the different levels, they keep going in the same direction. And you like, man, when is this ever going to go the other way? But you don't even recognize the protection of God through the whole process, how the grace of God is operating and functioning through that whole process.
Right.
And even today, there are things that are going on today, and we don't even know how God's grace is covering us. And that's why it's interesting, agnostic, you know, whatever you might be, you don't recognize the forces that are protecting
That
you around
protecting
you.
you.
You just
Even in
don't
your
recognize, and you
ignorance.
take it for granted
Yeah.
because you don't believe. Which, you know, I ain't can't fault nobody for what they believe or what they haven't been exposed to yet. Because I think people that don't believe just haven't been exposed. But you don't recognize the forces around you until you're forced to see the
Wow.
forces around you.
Wow. That's big. That's real big. That's big. Yeah, because you just don't know, man. I just, I've been able, because I've been, because of my first book, I've been able to go through my life and see the instances where, me being strong in situations that went left, it was just God protecting me. It was protecting me from my ignorance, from my stupidity, and just dumb things that I was doing. And even in my dumbness, I was still being protected. And that's way big, man.
Man,
That
I can
is
tell y'all
big,
some stories
you
that
know.
I know wasn't
Yeah,
nothing but God's protection. And
yeah.
when he talk about doing stupid stuff, oh my gosh. Some of the stuff that I did as a kid. And here's the thing, everything I did by myself.
Yeah.
I did it by myself. And there was some wrong, crazy stuff too. But I would do it by myself, mostly because I spent most of my time
By
by
myself.
myself.
Yeah. By
Which I didn't have
yourself.
a problem with that. Truth be told, I'm glad I did, because some of the things my counterparts and friends were exposed to, I was never exposed to.
Right.
And so some of the paths that even they took, I mean, I didn't take those paths because I didn't have that exposure
Yeah.
to those things.
Yeah. Pretty much. That's
Mm,
you
real
know,
talk.
yeah, that's real talk. That's
Hmm.
real talk. I
And
think
I ain't want to get nobody else in trouble. I figure if I'm gonna do something stupid and get caught, and then there's some things I did for the sole purpose of getting caught.
just to
And guess
see,
what? I ain't never get caught.
just to see if you get away with it,
It
you
wasn't
know.
even to get away with it. There, I was crying for attention, and so I figured doing stupid stuff was going to get me right where I needed to be. But now I'm looking back on it, I'm like, man, God protect you from a lot of
From a lot of
ignorance.
ignorance. Yeah.
A lot of ignorance. A
You know.
lot of ignorance. And then once I got into sports, the rest is history. I mean,
Yeah.
my life became tennis and basketball and just staying in shape and looking good for the guys. That was it. That was my whole life. And
And
eventually the guys won over.
that was her Oreoism when she was playing tennis, because
we had a lot of black people
Not
playing
Tiger
tennis.
Woods.
Zena Garrison played tennis. She's
I
black.
know that, but
I
you know,
mean,
I
can't
know
even
that.
talk about the Williams girls because
No, not the Williams girls. Yeah, you're right.
so it's a lot of it's more accepted now. More people are doing it. Key is we weren't exposed to it. So once we got
Right.
exposed to it, then it became something we were interested in, and we were good at it. That's the thing.
But that's
But
amazing
anyway,
that you got exposed to it from, you know, in Montgomery County.
why is
Because
that? It's
we
Montgomery County.
exactly. So, but it's the DMV. So
Yeah.
I don't know too many other tennis players that came out of the DMV.
Oh man, actually, it's a bunch of them.
Gymnastics and all that, football players, basketball players, boxers, but
Oh man, you
you
gotta do
know,
your research, bro.
yeah,
There's a whole bunch of tennis players, minority tennis players. Recently, there's a guy that grew up in Colombia, I think it was, and he's black, and he's ranked in the top 10 or the top 20. I mean, I haven't
with
stayed
tennis,
as in tennis. I haven't stayed as connected to it as I would like to because life is still going left.
yeah,
But
life ain't still going left. And I was thinking about that today. You know, I know what I know. I know what life looks like when it's going left. And if I really sit back, and if you really sit back and think about it, you know, where you are now as opposed to where you were, years ago. And, I mean, I think about stuff like, you know, while we were dating and whatever.
why you say whatever? It was dating, wasn't
Nah,
it?
hold on. While we were dating, you know, and I would go around people um that were in, fellowship or relationship with Jessica. And everybody was just trying to figure out why she had made this turn to get married. And you know what they said? They said, "You do single so well." And I'm like, what does that even mean? But that's what they said. And it took me a minute to understand that as we talked and got to know each other and all of these things, it made me understand that at some point, and this is everybody, at some point her life was going left, and she decided, okay, my life done went left, so I'm gonna go right and see where I end up. And the bottom line of her walk was Jesus is Lord.
I never turned back.
And she never turned back.
And I think a lot of my
Yeah.
friends, especially the ones that eventually I started getting in trouble with and doing stuff that we knew we had no business doing, I think all of them just kind of felt like, oh, this is a phase.
Yeah.
This is a fad. I think my family even felt like this is a phase. This is a fad. But I think one of the things I could say was God's protection, and we got to wrap up, but was I think spending so much time by myself made it easier for me to stick to it
Yeah.
because I wasn't so consumed by what other people thought. So it was easy for me to make that turn and be like, and the thing is, making that turn, thinking things is going to be roses, it wasn't. At one point in my pursuit of God in church, I was like, man, this is worse than being in the world. Maybe I should just go back to doing what I was doing. And there were so many opportunities. But for me, when I make my mind up about something, I don't move.
Mm.
I am steadfast and unmovable once my mind is made up. And the people that thought that it was a phase and I would be turning around, that energized me to never turn around.
Yeah.
So thank you to all my friends that thought it was a phase. 'Cause it wasn't a phase. It
Just say
was
thank you to all your haters too, because they said the same thing about me. They was like, it's just a matter of time. Okay, he going to church and everything now, but it's just a matter of time till we see Poochie again. And they still.
And I ain't had no nickname.
And get.
I had a DJ name. They might have gave me a nickname. I just ain't know it. They might have been calling me Stinky behind my back.
Yeah, for real. My name for a long time. They just didn't know I knew it. But my name was that nigga Poochie. That nigga Poochie. When they discussing me behind my back, that nigga Poochie. But, you know, at the same time.
It's like every group have a Poochie, y'all.
Yeah.
Cause we had a Poochie at our school too.
Get out of here.
His name was Richard Powell. But
But
he was Poochie to everybody else.
Silly, man.
Sorry.
But everybody thought, they thought that I was just going through
a phase.
That this just going through a church phase, going through this phase. But at some point that I would turn back into the person that I was, that they knew. And guess what? They still waiting. They still waiting. And guess what? They gonna be waiting. Amen. 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 Well, thank you, wifey. Thank you, wifey, for being on the show with me. Nah, I mean. But and I thank you guys for tuning in, and you can look forward to seeing me. Our next topic. We're gonna be working on this this is probably gonna be the last week. And then I'm jumping over to, what rock bottom look like.
Ooh.
And that is just me. I think that is such a powerful topic, man. And I'm gonna have people on that can tell you what rock bottom look like. I can tell you what rock bottom look like, but you can probably tell me what rock bottom look like, and you'll be able to like, share, and subscribe. But in the meantime, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on the Grace Cafe.
Amen.
Peace.
And I left my glass, so I can't see. Mr. Lord.
People seen it, but they just don't know. People seen it, but they just don't know.
So this is where it all ended for me. Everything in the street, this is where it ended for me. It's where I used to hang out, MLK and Park Lane. So when that police car cut that corner and locked me up, that's where it all ended. And we here today. It's crazy that to come back here, because this is also the place that I used to come and minister and pass out lunches and all that kind of stuff. So, I'm a real advocate for these people, because these people are me. So I want to see them get delivered just like I did.